Hi, today with our Business Spotlight interview, we're with Louise Lonergan of the Lonergan Group. So, Louise, perhaps you tell our listeners what it is you do and for how long you've been doing it.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity, Kevin. My name is Louise, and our company is on the go 24 years. And I suppose we've changed. When we started, we were selling corporate gifts to sporting events and corporate businesses. But really, the business has changed, and it's very streamlined now that we're selling reward and recognition predominantly to large companies that want to reward and engage their staff. You'll have heard plenty about the Great Resignation. It's a big problem for companies up to board level now. It's one of the most important at the board. And the other side of it then is that we also do gifts for customers, so for people's customers, so like loyalty programs to power up their pipeline basically. And I suppose COVID really accentuated the fact that it's very difficult for bosses to go around to all their staff clapping them on the back and telling them they've done a really good job. It's really difficult to bring the company values and the core values of what the company want to achieve. So this is a really clever way of delivering the message directly to the staff member. And the other thing was obviously sales reps weren't able to get out and about. They weren't able to see their customers. Like really logistic problems, like the fact that they may not have had mobile numbers because the staff were now not in the building anymore. They may or may not have had emails, and if you remember, we were actually flooded with emails. So the kind of way we used to communicate before became like a bottleneck. So gifts being delivered, obviously ethically done, being delivered to customers' doorsteps again was a really good loyalty piece, and it works out very well for companies.
Fantastic. That's great, and it's a very topical subject now these days. And I know in our case, we've, it's every client we have, it's an issue, but you've large and small.
Yeah.
So, who would you say is your best customer, Louise?
Well, people like Pfizer and those kind of companies, always like Irish Rail. They've always been the top ones, but what we're actually finding, the new trend, what we're finding is that it's more the kind of consultancy based companies. So the Jacobs, the Covalent, those kind of guys, the Ergo. So what's happening is, because the Great Resignation is such a huge issue, the bigger companies like the MSD and the Mercks and those kind of guys are outsourcing to the Jacobs of this world, for example, and then they are looking for an end-to-end solution of how to do this, and that's where it comes to us then. So basically, whether it's Covalent or Jacobs or whatever, they come to us and they tell us this is what we're trying to achieve. So from the very get-go, even down to the branding and how are they going to deliver this message. And it's very easy to say, right, guys, we're bringing a great culture in and everything's going to be wonderful. But until you actually start putting, signage up and having these meetings and giving the gifts. And I always say the gift is actually the vehicle to deliver the message. So whether it's a television or it's a branded water bottle, that's not the biggest deal in the world. It's about the fact that you're delivering this trust and you're delivering something to say, we're not just talking about this, guys. We're putting some bang to our book, and it's amazing for the ROI. And if you think about the validation that people don't get on a daily basis, whether they are your best customer giving you a huge amount of their money, or whether it's a staff member going the extra mile, as everybody has done over COVID. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, brilliant spread there. I think you may have covered it, but were there any business changes, like in your own business, that you would consider that COVID-19 made necessary?
Thank goodness, Kevin, we had already started this remote working. Because I have a small business, I'm always, the contractor model is always one that's been very attractive to me. So I already had bookkeepers and stuff working remotely, and even the likes of the sales calls, we had already started delivering them on Zoom. So thank goodness I had that good start on it before it hit, because like obviously that was a huge change. And obviously things like websites and all of those types of things, CRMs were already set up, because that would have been a huge issue. But there's so much has changed because of COVID. Like there's, where do you start? Like I don't go to visit customers anymore. And my office that's a kilometer down the road, I still work from home most of the days. So it's really, this hybrid model is going to be so interesting, isn't it? And
yeah,
how do you bring your staff back together? Like you have people saying now when they go into the office they get no work done. So it's really going to be very interesting about how it all works out. But I think it's an amazing, that for the long term, the work-life balance is what we've all been striving for years. So, and even talk of this 4-day week. So it's very interesting what will happen next, I think.
Yeah, well, I think again you may have covered it, but of all the actions you've taken because of the pandemic, you were kind of well prepared for it. So, what are the some that will remain part of your business? That you've taken steps beforehand. You're going to continue with that, I suppose. The work-life balance you mentioned. You see yourself where you don't visit clients now at this stage. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think it's necessary. I suppose what happens is when you start getting into this world, then you're talking automation is probably next, and your digital strategy and your marketing plan. And I suppose then when you think about what we do, so we're delivering gifts as a message for our clients. So we do the same thing, and we saw a 65% increase on the clients that we targeted. So this really does work. But also, as well as that, you kind of see the fact that you don't necessarily have to be out in front of people yourself. So how else can you do it?
Yeah.
So we would find ourselves doing a lot of work. We would have a constant SEO. Google ads are more featured. But also, how else can we attract people? Because I suppose the interesting thing that happened to us through COVID is we diversified very quickly into PPE, because customers like Bus Éireann were crying on the phone saying they couldn't get hand sanitizers.
Right.
Their people couldn't go to work. Their people couldn't get lifts around the country. It was like unbelievable. But so we were delivering stuff to people that they needed, and I think that was one of the things that's definitely stuck in my brain. We want to deliver stuff that people need and require, and it helps them to make a better benefit. So I decided then that we would start the gift revolution or gratitude revolution. And what that means is that whether it be a customer or a staff member, like if you get a little gift delivered to you, how good do you feel about yourself? And you feel special, and it makes your day, and it's a different thing. And you're opening it in front of your kids, and your kids are like, why am I getting this present? So you go down to coach the GAA then at nighttime, and you're in a happier space. So we really do think what we do, even though it's a tiny little thing, can make a serious impact on people's lives.
Absolutely right. 100%. Couldn't agree more. And what would you say is the biggest learning you've had since you've been a business owner?
Jesus, how long have you got? You just look, it's just about, I just think it's like a roller coaster. And I think if you are an entrepreneur, you need to love challenges. And the kids that I take from Maynooth College, the interns, are always the product developers. And the reason I love their attitude is everything is a problem. Right. So when you come to the table with everything is a problem, it's not a shocker. And it's like, okay, so how are we going to fix this? And I think that if everybody had that kind of attitude in life, because no matter what happens, whether you're trying to rear your kids or whether you're trying to get your car to go, there's problems in everybody's life daily. So right. I think if you come at it with that kind of attitude, that it's not a surprise, and it's just about plan B and C and which is the best plan. And then I suppose if you are going to make mistakes, so try and make the clangers small ones. And then when you make the clangers, try and make the small ones not happen again, So it's easy sitting where I am after 24 years, but when you're new to business, it is difficult. So I do think that when I was younger, I probably was I definitely still take risks, and I would recommend it, but I think try and make them calculated. I probably wouldn't have done my homework. I would definitely do my homework on a lot of things now.
Fantastic. Okay. Any offers you want to include in the newsletter?
Well, we would be delighted to hear from anybody, and our friendly team are like, we work to budget, so it's not even about offers, but we can deliver all around the world or within Ireland. The whole thing about us, more than money, is the fact we take the pain away. So somebody comes to us and says they want 25 hampers, they want personalized mugs or water bottles or chocolate bars or whatever. We do all the work for you. So I'm sure we can offer you a good price. And if there is companies out there thinking about should they reward their staff, 70% of companies know they should do it. There's 30% that aren't doing it that know they should do it. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. This is the whole point. So you don't have to spend a fortune. What we're saying now is this should become like the new VHI that you pay for your staff members. It's supposed to be 1% of their salary. So if you have somebody on 30 grand, that's 300 quid a year. You know, the small payment scheme is 500. So if you spend 50 quid on 4 quarters of the year on a staff member, that's it. It doesn't have to cost a fortune to say, I see you, thank you for all you're doing. And, you know, so I would encourage companies to reach out to me or other people about that.
Fantastic. Okay. And maybe just to finish up there, Louise, what is most inspiring to you today?
I'm part of 2 different amazing associations. One is Vital Voices, that was started by Hillary Clinton, and the work they do is incredible. And also our own Irish Going for Growth. Paula is the lady that runs it, and she's incredible. And then I'm surrounded by women like Louise Phelan, ex-PayPal, and Margot Slattery. And I love the inclusiveness that the women are having now. I love the fact that women are being brought into boards, and I think it's trailblazers like that that are really that are ahead of me, and hopefully I can influence and help the people coming up, the girls coming up after me.
Fantastic. Listen, Louise, that was great. Really appreciate the time you've taken. So that's Louise Lonergan from the Lonergan Group in our Business Spotlight today.